Good evening. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. If you in the chat right now, let me know if you can hear me. My mic good? I'm gonna wait a second for the room to build up a little bit, YouTube to send out notifications, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get into it. What's happening, Great Polo? What's up with it? Yeah, I'm gonna give it a second for the notifications to go out, and yeah, we're gonna get right into it. I don't plan to be here real long, which I never really plan to be here real long, but for some reason, these tend to run over. But it's been a minute since I've done one. I'm kind of overdue. And actually, I've been planning this live stream for a while now, over a month. This was set for June 23rd. And it's crazy because it's now July 23rd. So this been kind of in the works for a while. But I've been busy like running and just tied up with a bunch of other stuff and not able to, put the time in to actually do the live stream. But I'm here today, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get it done. Give me like another minute or so, and then we're gonna like jump right into it. And if you in the chat, you say me and Mark both live right now. Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah. Y'all need the content in the space, and just like the topic that I'm gonna touch on today, this is something that I feel like it needs to be brought up. You see what I'm saying? In my opinion, this topic, it is debatable. You see what I'm saying? This is not a cut and dry topic. And what I'm getting is when I talk to individuals offline, I get one sentiment. And then online, I see individuals that's, just not saying. I even did a little experiment. If you go back and you look at my last video, and it did pretty well. I think it's at like 1,000 views right now. But if you go back and you look at that video, I purposely put a screenshot of a particular load, which normally a year ago, if I posted this same type of load in the video, man, I would have got all type of backlash. Oh, what you doing even running loads like that? Which, if individuals aren't familiar with the area, if you look at it, I am in Pontiac, Illinois, which is like 40 minutes from where I started. So technically, it's like a round trip, but it paid like $210 a mile. I purposely put that in the video just to see what would happen. Nobody said nothing. So, like I said, it's two different consensus from the people I talk to offline as opposed to the people I talk to on. And I feel like a lot of people, we're going to get into all of that. But first, before I move into, the body of everything that I want to talk about today, I kind of want to tell a little story just pertaining to the topic at hand. And at the same time, I'm too going to take any questions that you guys may have. So it is a Q&A. Feel free to ask me whatever questions that you have. And like I said, I'm going to tell a little story, pertaining to the topic at hand. So I want to say like 3 weeks ago, I made a post, but Curry contacted me for a 4-day contract. They wanted me to do a Monday through Thursday with the usual tire runs that I do. You guys, if you follow the content, you've seen on various occasions that I've done tires, with Curry. And it's usually pretty lucrative. So they called me and they wanted me to do a 4-day contract Monday through Thursday. I don't know why it wasn't Monday through Friday. But I had agreed in the past, if you look at the old content, to $750 a day. And when they contacted me this particular time, it's like 95, 100 degrees. At least that's what it's feeling like. So I understand trucks break down. It's also just super, super hot. So pretty much I quoted them $800 a day. And they went for it, but I could kind of tell Curry really wasn't too pleased with that rate. And then the customer, I got kind of a weird vibe from them. Like they felt like they were paying too much for my services, which in my opinion, that's not the case, and that's something I'm gonna touch on too, like the quality of work that individuals are providing to these customers, and I feel like I set myself apart the way I run my truck, the way I carry myself, the way I communicate, how patient I am. So I feel like I have a right to charge, whatever I see fit for my services on whatever particular day. So like I said, I did the 4 days and I could kind of get the vibe that they weren't super happy with what they had to pay me. So Friday comes around and I'm waiting because I know I did a hell of a job. So I'm trying to see if they're going to contact me and say, hey, we're going to run it again next week, or if it's going to be a situation where they say, hey, they done. But I'm getting word inside the tire place where I'm running for that they're going to need another driver the following week. So Friday, about midday, after I finished the first 4 days, I pretty much get a bid from Curry. They send me a bid for $600. I'm like, $600? So I put my bid in for $800, like I ran for this week. I want the same thing. So it sat for an hour or two. I'm like, I'm gonna get it. They're gonna go ahead and give it to me. I get an email that another carrier, they underbid me. Pretty much they put their foot on my neck. That's what, I guess that's what the thing is. So yeah, they put their foot on my neck. He underbid me. So I said, okay, cool. And I kind of thought about it a little bit and I was like, maybe I should have been at $750. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stick with, what I said at first. I'm gonna stand on that. I ain't gonna go around it. So the guy started the contract Monday. So I'm sitting back and I'm like, it's super hot. You took that for I don't know what exactly he took it for, but the bid was $600 they wanted me to take it for. So like I said, Monday come around. By the end of the day, Monday, I get a call from Curry. They say, hey, are you available tomorrow? I said, yeah. Can you do the 800? They said, yeah, we could match the 800. I said, okay, yeah, I'll be there. So I get to the tire place Tuesday. I'm talking to individuals in the area, where the tires are. They tell me Buddy took it for the low, $600. And he drove from way up yonder, came all the way down in 90 degrees. He got an hour and a half away with a truckload of tires. His truck broke down. So then they had to send another guy from Curry to go out and offload him. You see what I'm saying? So he thought that he was undercutting me, not looking at the weather conditions, not looking at where he had to drive from or what he had to do to complete the load. He didn't factor any of that in. He said, I'm going to put my foot on Buddy neck. Yeah, he said he going to underbid me. He going to undercut me. You see what I'm saying? This the new thing, I guess, that's going on. So I'm like, I'm kind of in my head. I played it cool, but when I'm talking to the people in the tire, because we in the office, and they like, yeah, his truck broke down. He was in the out there in like 95-degree heat, sweating in the truck. He waiting on Buddy to come out and da 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 da. I'm like, really? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So this is the point I'm making. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people are in a mindset right now. I hear this a lot. Something is better than nothing. Something better than nothing. Like, that's your outlook on life. Something is better than nothing. In some situations, nothing is better than something. Let me say that. I'm going to say that. Because I feel like a bunch of individuals had that mindset. I just got to get something. But what if it's not worth your while? You see what I'm saying? So that's a new thing as well. Something is better than nothing. I just got to move the truck. That's cool. But at the same time, like I said, I'm factoring in weather, what I have to do to complete the load and so forth. So this is just a little story that I was going to give you guys, but it goes further because I just recently got a dedicated route with Curry. Now, initially, they contacted me with the route via text. I don't know why. I wish they would have called me. But when they contacted me, I was asleep. It was like 1 p.m. in the middle of the day. I had ran an overnight route. They text me with the text that I put up in the community post. I was asleep. I woke up about 5 p.m. When I woke up, I responded to the text. I didn't get a response back. So the following day, the next morning, I run another overnight route and I'm like, they never responded back. They offered me a dedicated route and then I didn't hear nothing else. So I contact them and say, hey, well, you contacted me with the route. I said that I would take it. I wanted to up it by $100 and I didn't hear nothing back. Was it filled? They tell me, check this out. Yes, actually, it was filled. So they contacted me. I didn't respond within so many hours, and they went with another guy. I don't know if this is the same guy from the tire spot, but this is a whole different contract. This is an entirely different facility that I'm running out of. So I contacted them. They said, yeah, it was filled, but the guy's having truck issues. Are you available today to run that route? You don't say. You don't say. So I said, yeah, I'm available. And I was already bummed out. Like, damn, how did I miss, the call and y'all get somebody else that quick? So I show up at the facility, and this is what I want to tell you guys, this is kind of what I'm getting at. I show up at the facility, and when I get there, they're talking about the guy that didn't show up. They like, yeah, the guy was coming from way out, an hour and a half, 2 hours away. For some reason, he said he wouldn't be here to 1 p.m. His truck broke down. So when they asked me, showed up at the facility, I talked to them at like 9:30 a.m. I was at the facility they needed me at, and within 30 minutes, it's like 10 minutes away from my house. And I was almost asleep. I really didn't want to do it. But I'm like, this your opportunity to, snatch this right from under his nose. So you need to go now. I wanted to tell him, hey, I could do it tomorrow if the guy haven't, but I went. I showed up. I was loaded within 30 minutes. Talked to the people. Like I said, they were conversating about the guy. And pretty much from there, I took the route, ran it. I think I was done in like 4 or 5 hours, tops. And by the end of the day, I was in contact with the customer who sent the load out. And they told me, hey, we put in a good word for you. We want you to come back tomorrow. We're not gonna deal with the other guy. And pretty much they asked me, was it my truck? I said it was my truck. And they was like, yeah, well, talk to Curry because we put in the good word that we want you to come back tomorrow. And that's how I actually got the contract. Initially, I had lost it because due to the fact I was sleeping. Like I said, normally I would get a phone call, but for some reason it was via text. And I believe that Curry knew that this guy would do it for cheaper. So therefore, he, they purposely went with somebody else. But they say the guy was coming from like an hour and a half away. And like I told them, cost wise, and if his truck is already breaking down, he wasn't gonna make it far anyway. He just didn't realize it. It wasn't even gonna be worth his while. So that's just kind of how that panned out. That's my next live stream, Hotbox Trucking, to delete the death or not. That was actually my next live stream. But like I said, this has been a hot topic in the space. And it seems to be a divide, in the community. And like I said, certain individuals that are not keeping it real, just to put it point blank. When I talk to individuals in private, I hear, it is a such thing as cheap freight. And I think some of what a lot of individuals are listening to is being taken out of context. That's the point that I'm getting at. I don't think that it's being put out in the manner that individuals are taking it as. I believe individuals are using this and feeling enabled to just take any load that pops up on the board. For instance, and I think I was one of the first individuals to talk about this, and then I heard a bunch of individuals bring it up later on. The Amazon relay routes. It's individuals that take Amazon relay routes for $2 per mile or less. And I've already explained, if you're going to point B, which is 200 miles out, and you getting a total of $400, $500, $600. But when you get there, you don't have a load back. I already went through all of this. Then technically you cut that rate in half. So if you took it for $2, then it's going to actually turn into $1 per mile when you factor in there and back. Now, whose cost per mile is $1 per mile? Like, that's what I want to ask, individuals. Like, nobody's cost per mile is that low. If it is people who have a cost per mile below $1, it's very few individuals. So if you're running loads that are below your cost per mile, that do not cover the cost for you to run the load, you're essentially paying Amazon or the broker or whoever you're running the freight for to run their load. That's cheap freight. I mean, I don't care how you want to break it down. Like I said, I think some of the narrative is being taken out of context, and something else out here where, it's a narrative of, well, the rates have been the same. And I started in 2019 in a Sprinter van. And from what I've experienced over the course of the 5 years I've been in business, is the rates have steadily declined. Now, I came in before the pandemic, before all of the effects of whatever took place, that caused the rates to fluctuate. And, we know it was abundant in 2021, 2022, and then we started to see a decline. But the point I'm making is in 2019, when I started in a Sprinter van, the average going rate for a Sprinter van load was between 80 and 85 cents per mile. 90 cents, $1, you were doing really well. Okay. Talk to a lot of Sprinter van owner operators nowadays, believe it or not. The average going rate for a Sprinter van load nowadays is 60, 65 cents per mile. Okay. Like I said, I started, it was 80, 85 cents. Anything less than that was crazy. Now it's 65 cents per mile. So the point I'm making is I've seen a steadily decline in these rates over the course of the last, say, 2-3 years. And it's not going back to what it was in 2019. It's actually becoming less and less. So I understand that individuals enter into the space and you're going to see a process of supply and demand. Whereas some individuals, are going to come in and they're going to choose to run for cheaper, which are going to affect the race overall for everybody. Everybody does not have an understanding of the trucking industry, what they should be running for, and so forth. And that's how I believe that the rates went from 85 and 80 cents per mile with a Sprinter van to, like I said, 65 cents, nowadays. So, I mean, it's certain narratives that I don't agree with. And I'm not going to sit back and act like, hey, no, I feel like it need to be said. Individuals say it in private, but then it's quiet online. And I wonder why that is. What's going on that y'all afraid to speak y'all mind and say, hey, no, I don't agree with that. I feel like it is a such thing as cheap freight. Like, cheap freight, not the boogeyman. It's real. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like is happening. You're going to have a group of individuals who are going to use that as a scapegoat. No, there's no such thing as cheap freight. You see what I'm saying? And I understand, the Deregulation Act. I've heard all of that. I pay attention. I've listened to it. I understand that, but the point I'm making is I can't base my business off something that happened before I was born. You see what I'm saying? I can't base my business off of that. And if that is the case, say that's true. I understand what's going on, but why do I don't have to accept that. You see, I don't have to accept the fact that this is what it is. And so I need to know, I'm going to run my truck for what I see fit. And that's what I've been doing since I've started my trucking company, and I've been successful at it. Sometimes you got to take a L. At times you're going to say, hey, this is my price and I'm standing on that. And then they're going to say, well, the hell with you. Get on up out of here then. We not messing with you. And then you take that L and you move on. But you stand on your price. And that's what I went through when I quoted Curry the 800. And I'm like, well, I already quoted him 800. Should I go back and say 750? No, let him have that. Let Buddy go out there in the 95-degree weather, drive from an hour and a half, 2 hours away. His truck break down, and then he got to turn around and get the tires offloaded. He looks super bad. He ruined his reputation with Curry, for $600. So this is kind of what I'm getting at when I say, it is a such thing as cheap freight. Any freight that does not supplement your cost per mile and your business cost in general, it's cheap. I mean, how else you gonna look at it? And then before I come out here and I say something, I talk to other individuals and get their ideas of how they feel and just see what you think. Oh no, man, they say this, but then online, like I said, it's super quiet. So I wanted to open up this discussion. And if you feel like I'm wrong, then put it in the chat. I'm wrong. You say that. But what I'm saying is it needs to be discussed. It needs to be brought up because you have new individuals who take this narrative and they run with it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think we as content creators approach everybody like we all mentally on the same playing field. And that ain't always the case. So I feel like you have to be real careful with what you put out for a lot of individuals to consume, because like I said, people will take these narratives and they'll run with them and they'll say, hey, I'm gonna just book this and I'm gonna run in the red, for this long. And then you see these dudes in a live stream, 6 months from now, with a sob story. Like I've seen a lot of stuff, and you just gotta realize that everybody not mentally in the same space. I'm gonna just leave it there. I ain't gonna go too deep into it, but yeah, you have people take stuff literally. So when you tell people that it's not a such thing as cheap freight, he think he could go out and run a load for $1.20 a mile and be profitable. And then when he crashed into that brick wall, he ended the live stream. And I saw this a while back. I know I'm late, but I'm watching the live stream, and the content creator was talking to one dude. The content creator was talking to one dude. So it's a guy in the back room. And see, this the type of people that think it's no such thing as cheap freight. I'm gonna just use this guy as an example. It's a content creator having a discussion with an individual in the live stream. He talking to the one individual. It's another individual in the back row. Okay. As he's talking to the other individual, he finished it up. And he goes to say, okay, let me bring up this other individual that's in my back room. So he closed out with this guy, and he brings up the other guy. When he brings up the other guy, Buddy holler out, hold on, let me put the weed out. And so people, I'm looking in the chat, people like, wait, what'd he say? And he like, no, I know this was a minute ago, but he like, no, I ain't what I heard the same thing. So then he come up, and we listening to the guy, we talking to him, or he's talking to him, and the guy, the first thing he's talking about, now he's smoking in the back room. This was tripping me out. The first thing he's adamant about is that he wants to go OTR. He want to go over the road. So you can't even, you're not even able to sit through a live stream, and conduct. You get brought up just all out of order, but you're not even trying to run local. You the first thing you want to do is go over the road. Like I said, so you got to realize it's certain individuals that's not thinking clearly. You see what I'm saying? Like if you got this type of habit, how bro, you're not going to survive over the road. Like it's not going to work out. Just your habit is not going to allow that. At some point you're going to find whatever. But like I said, it's certain individuals that are not thinking clearly. And when you give them a certain narrative, people are quick to run with it. And that causes a lot of confusion. I feel like people like, yeah, I could book whatever. And in the end, it becomes a major issue down the line. Trust me. And I see it's a wide discussion about deleting the death. And like I said, I'm gonna do a live stream on that next. I've been planning that for over like a couple months too. And kind of just to open up a discussion, I've ran into that a couple times where I've had issues where different places have told me just to delete it, and be done with it. And the engine will perform in the manner that it's supposed to perform, and you won't have any other problems. But yeah, that's kind of, I want to do it like a debate on that and just see what the general consensus is on deleting the death. It's crazy that one of the first few comments that came up was pertaining to deleting the death. Because yeah, that's definitely my next live stream on my list to kind of just like go into that and see what the general consensus is on, how people feel about that. I know a lot of people already done it. I've talked to a bunch of individuals that they've done it, and usually they say it's not an issue, but I just kind of, just want to kind of open up a discussion about it and see what, most individuals think about deleting the death on their truck because everybody tells me it makes life so much easier just to get rid of it. And nobody gonna notice and so forth. It's like $3,000, 3,500, and no more death. So I don't know, but we're gonna get into that. You know, I kind of want to stay on topic today. I ain't trying to be here all night. But yeah, that's gonna definitely be my next topic I'm gonna touch on. Like Hot Box Trucking said, nah, everyone does it. And I've heard that too. It's a big fine if you get caught and you have to replace it. And if you do delete it, then you unable to like take it to certain shops. So yeah, I have heard that. And yeah, the quality of death, I don't know. It just kind of depends on where you get it. But I think it's a lot of bad death around. So yeah, you just kind of definitely got to be careful with what death you use. And a lot of individuals say get it in the container out of the truck stop. I normally just get it from the pump. I don't really have time. It's so much more time consuming to do it that way than to just pump it in. But yeah, you definitely got to watch the quality. Hot Box Truck and say, I'm gonna do it. Man, it's definitely it's definitely it's definitely something to consider. I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not, but I didn't consider it. I ain't gonna lie. They say Texas is different. Yeah, use Blue Death. Sprinter vans use Blue Death. I only put Blue Death in my Sprinter van. It's a little more expensive, but it's supposed to be like way more pure. But man, you're gonna spend a lot of money putting Blue Death in your box truck. I'm telling you, like, man, it's gonna get expensive. Great Polo, appreciate that $2. Y'all brought the MGMs over. I knew they was gonna come. They'll be over here eventually. I figured this. That's why I titled the topic a certain way. You know, I figured that a lot of individuals would you know, it'll turn a few heads. And you know, I felt like it was a topic that needs to be debated. You know, if people saying stuff in private and they ain't saying it online, then why is that? You know, what's going on? So I just wanted to know. That's why I, you know, brought up the topic. And I do feel like cheap freight exists. Like I said, any freight that does not support or supplement your business, meaning cover your cost per mile and some, and you're running that, or you're paying a shipper to run their load, meaning you're running in the red. And I mean, maybe it's the wording, maybe my idea of cheap and other people's idea of cheap is different. That could be the case. But if you're running freight that does not supplement, like I said, your business, your cost per mile fully, plus some, who want to run for exactly their cost per mile? How much sense do that make? My cost per mile, $1.49 a mile. Why would I want to run for $1.49 a mile? So you're gonna start a whole business, a LLC, a corporation, whatever you want to call it. You want to go through all this headache and heartache, day in, day out, you know, thinking processes and plotting and planning to run for exactly what your cost is. And you cool with that. And it's not cheap. If you run for exactly for your cost per mile, that's cool. So you'll do that for a week straight. You'll run for exactly your cost per mile, just break even for a week straight. Well, then, I mean, we different. I'm gonna just say that because that's not my mindset. Like, I don't run a truck to break even or make a little bit of money. Well, I want to do that for, I might well work a job. I'm just telling you the truth. If I want to just make a little bit of money, a little bit over my cost per mile, then I might well just work a job and then it'll all be profit. And I'll go mess up somebody else's shit and don't gotta pay. Cause see, I gotta pay for this shit. You see what I'm saying? So certain shit to me is cheap. Like I gotta foot the bill for this shit. The insurance, it don't go down, it go up. Maintenance ain't going down, it's going up. That shit like $180 an hour. And y'all want me to run for my cost per mile. Now I'm not doing that. And I'm not gonna agree with nobody that put out that. No, I'm not gonna agree with that. I don't agree with it. So if I'm wrong for that, then I'm wrong. Somebody told me, man, if you do that live stream, they already said you stupid. Somebody told me that. They said, man, if you do that live stream, they already said you stupid. I said, I'd be stupid before I be a follower. That's what I told them. And I'd be stupid before I not speak my mind and not tell the truth. You see what I'm saying? So if that make me stupid, then I'm stupid. But I ain't gonna sit back and play the dummy role like we all playing crazy. Last year, everybody knew what Chief Frey was. Now everybody playing crazy. Don't nobody know what Chief Frey is. We all stupid. But then I talk to people in private. No, bro, I agree with you. You right. It is a such thing as Chief Frey. Shit. But then in public, everybody, I put a cheap load up in the video. Don't nobody even say nothing. Ain't nobody see it. Everybody was blind. I said, damn. Ain't nobody say nothing. 210 a mile. Go back and look at the video. 210 a mile. Not nobody said nothing. Midwest, you bogus. No, Midwest, you ain't walking it like you talking. You see what I'm saying? Nobody say that. They turn their head. No, because there ain't no such thing as Chief Frey no more. Everybody, now they enabled. You see what I'm saying? They feel enabled to run these cheap loads and run in the red and then want to book a consultation with me about how to get. I don't know how to get you out the hole, bro. We run different. We don't run the same. You see what I'm saying? I look at this whole box truck business, box truck game, whatever you want to call it. This is like the ocean. You see what I'm saying? You got a bunch of different type of creatures in the ocean. You see what I'm saying? You got orcas, you got sharks, you got dolphins, on down to fish, and then squid, and then shrimp, and shit like that. All them different species eat different. Everybody not competing for the same shit. We don't eat the same, bro. You eat shit off the ground down there, the plankton and the dirt. You like that. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. That tastes good to you. The shit off the bottom of the ocean, that's what you like to eat. I don't eat that shit down there, bro. If I got to eat that, I get out the ocean. I don't want to be in here. I like to be with the orcas and shit, the dolphins, the smart shit in the ocean. You down there, you like the catfish. You eat the shit that the shrimp eat and shit, the dirty, nasty shit. Like, and that's cool. Them bad lows, run them, bro. Nobody is, hey, to each his own. I understand, because I agree with this as well. Do what is best for your business. I say that. If you want to eat that shit down there, you want to go all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, eat all that dirty shit down there, go ahead, bro. Eat it. And it's not bad for you. That shit good for you. It's good for you. Like, eat it. That's what I'm saying. But me, no. And that's why I feel like I honestly look at this whole thing as a ocean. And it's different type of creatures that eat different. We are all not the same. So it's like when you finally get that through, you're going to realize why certain people are okay with running certain freight. I run certain loads. And genuinely, I can't make this up. I'm not saying it for a live stream. If I take a load for a certain amount, I run it upset. I can't listen to no music. I'm not in my right state of mind. I'm upset with myself. Then I feel stupid. You know, why am I on this load running this? And I'm looking at this load, boy, and shit study coming up that's paying more. And other people able to go get that. But I'm running this, you know, wasting my time. Where if I would have just waited or had a little patience, then I could have got something better. And that's just in life in general. You know, you don't jump at the first thing that, you know, stick out at you. And I think that's a lot of what go on. Like I said, that mindset of something is better than nothing. To me, No, in a lot of situations, nothing is better than something. If it's a case where you're paying somebody else to run their freight, then in that case, nothing is better than something. You sit that out and wait. And that's just how I look at it. But everybody got a different type of mindset on how they approach, you know, what type of freight they choose to run. But I don't agree with some of the narratives. And like I said, I think a lot of it is just taken out of context in general. Like, people don't, actually understand what's being said. I believe it's no such thing as cheap freight if it's profitable. If it's profitable freight. If you're running freight that's not profitable, then what else is it? We could use a different word, but it don't make sense. The bottom line is what's, the point we're trying to make. If you're running freight for under your cost, it just don't make sense at all. Man, y'all all over the place in the chat. I don't know what y'all got going on. Oh, Running Warrior said, "Don't do it." And see, that's what I kind of want to get, because yeah, it's just a back and forth on whether to delete the death or not. See, and that's a hot topic. I'm doing that live stream. I'm gonna do that real soon, because yeah, I've been wanting to touch on that. I think I'm gonna kind of, once I do that live stream, I'm gonna make my final decision on whether or not I'm a delete it or not. So I'm gonna let y'all help me make that decision. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that real soon. Water and urine. You said death is water and I know that's a new one. Mix water. Y'all wild, man. Mix urine with distilled water. That's death. Man, y'all wild, man. Don't do that, man. Don't pee in y'all death tank, man. Yeah, man. But from what I see, and that's another thing too. Like with the like we just had Prime Week. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. And Prime Week, it was cool. It was cool. It was probably the best Prime Week in a long time. Like, and it's still kind of going on. Like, I actually lost a little money doing this live stream, and if I hadn't already scheduled it, I probably would have, because it was a load that came up. It was like $750, and I could have ran it real quick, but yeah, the time would conflict with the live. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And that's why I try to just schedule this in advance, because I never actually do them. And I just gotta force myself to start doing these, like schedule them in advance and do them. But yeah, I just wanted to open up, this debate. Y'all in the damn chat talking about death. Like, maybe I should have just did that one, huh? Maybe we should have just talked about death today. Chicago's very own. What's happening? I'm trying to start some mess. Man, this is debatable, bro. This topic, Great Polo, this topic is debatable. Like, we got to talk about this. We not going to leave it in the dark. If I got to be the bad guy to bring this to the forefront, to make y'all talk about whether y'all feel like it's such thing as cheap freight or not, then that's what I got to do. I'll be the bad guy. Then they could get me. Okay, cool. But I just want to open up the discussion. I feel like it's something that's been needed to be had. I'm not trying to start any mess with anybody. That's not my intentions. I'm just trying to open up a healthy debate about whether or not it is a real thing. Is it a such thing as cheap freight or not? That's all. I'm not trying to start any trouble with anybody. I'm a peaceful guy. I'm a peaceful guy. So I'm not trying to start any mess, Great Polo. That's not me. You see, I be quiet for periods of time. And then I come back. But I felt like over the time, like I said, I didn't talk to one person or two people. I've asked a few people, bro, is it a such thing as cheap freight or not? They say cheap freight is the boogeyman or the tooth fairy. They say it ain't real. So I just wanted to ask, and everybody that I talk to, I'm not going to make this up or come up here and lie. I'm going to tell the truth. Everybody said, no, bro, we agree. It is a such thing as cheap freight. It's a lot of people that don't agree with this, but they ain't saying it. I don't like that. And I don't feel like it's real. I feel like a lot of y'all playing crazy and y'all are not keeping it real. So that's why we here. And like I said, on the next one, we gonna do the death thing. But I did want to talk about this. And also, like, I understand, the narrative. I feel like other individuals don't. If you're running freight that's right and fitting for your business, then it's no such thing as cheap. But these dudes running cheap freight. They are. I could show you. If you want to get in the truck with me, get a temp badge, you can ride with me, and I will go show you individuals every night that are running cheap freight. It's real. I'm not making this up. And I ain't trying to be funny. Cheap freight is real. Y'all just got to tell the truth. Y'all, man, look, y'all are something else. That's what I'm going to say. Y'all a trip. Y'all are something else. It's crazy how 1 year ago, everybody knew what cheap freight was. You see what I'm saying? It was a big thing. And now all of a sudden, everybody playing the dummy role. We not gonna do that, bro. We gonna talk about it. That's what the space is for. To open up healthy discussions and debates, and bring these things to the forefront. We can't just leave this stuff open and nobody talk about it. But then y'all talk about it in private, and they run an ads. It might start kicking y'all. Yeah, it's probably gonna start kicking y'all out. The ads, I'll be watching some live streams, the ads get to kicking people out. But yeah, yeah, man. Like I said, I just wanted to open up a healthy debate. That's what that was. Running Warrior say, leave that death system alone. Yeah, to be honest with you, that's the direction I'm really leaning in. But I want to see what the general consensus is and just what a lot of other people have done, and to open this up for others that, you know, may have the same question, because you see, I'm talking about something totally different. And that was one of the first things that came up in the chat. So, you know, it's definitely a hot topic. And I've had it recommended to me on at least 3 occasions. Like, dude, you won't get another engine like forever. So I'm like, I don't know, man. 3,500 be sounding real good to know just PMs, no more engine problems. And that's also a lesson to a lot of you guys watching. Just, you know, if you get a truck, try to avoid even getting one with a DEF system, because a lot of individuals end up deleting them. So if you could avoid getting a truck that got a DEF system altogether, then you ain't required to have it. And then you don't have that problem. In a way, I kind of wish I did go that route, but then you gotta go with a substantially older truck. Usually that's like before '07 to avoid the death. So in a way, shit, if the older truck's solid, you might come out better going that route, to tell you the truth. I ain't gonna lie to you, because that death, especially when it get cold or it's of bad quality, it's gonna cause you a bunch of issues. And that's what a lot of individuals are telling me. Man, all of this comes from the death. It's just the death that's causing this. It's really nothing, but it's something. You just need to get rid of it. So I'm like, I debate on it all the time. The last 3 to 6 months, I've been like just debating on deleting it all together, to tell you the truth. He said specifically, yeah, because you're going through different states where DOT is different in different areas. So your DOT in your state may be more lax than DOT in another state. So I get what he's saying. If you run an OTI and you're going through a bunch of different states, you might not want to have that deleted. And I have heard of certain scales where they are able to look for certain clues. They got cameras that they look for certain clues to tell them if it's been deleted or not. And I do know if they catch you with it deleted, then you got a whole nother issue. And times like we just had two different DOT events. So, you want to be careful with that if you definitely OTR. Vic from Arizona, what's happening with you? Appreciate you for joining us. It's me. Run your business correctly and honestly. Right. I mean, like I said, I agree with the fact you got to do what's best for you. I mean, if it's supplementing your cost and you making something off of it, then do you. But it's just when it don't make sense, and you get into a mindset where it's like I've talked about this many a times. There's plenty of situations where I need to make some money. I ain't hit my goal for the week. I'm trying to hit this goal that I set each week, and I haven't hit it yet. And it's coming up on the end of the week, and I'm looking at a couple lows last minute that come up. If them lows don't pay a certain amount, I'm not gonna run them. I'm just gonna not hit my goal for the week. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not going to run a load and pay the shipper to run their load in order to hit a goal where in all actuality none of it's even profit. Like, you increasing the number, but you're not increasing your profit. So what sense is that really making overall? Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. That's cheap freight. You're paying the carrier, or you're paying the shipper to run their load. You're using your fuel, and then it's not just expenses that tie into this. Even when DOT, it's a lot of DOT out, I'm charging more. Like, that's all of that factors in. Bad weather, I'm charging more. It's real hot, I'm charging more. Like, it's stuff that factors in different situations to where you should know your worth and say, no, in this particular situation, I'm not running for what I normally run for, because this, that, or the third. Amazon has even added a feature to their load board, and a lot of individuals don't know about it, or it's not being really talked about, but they've added an AI feature to where now you can negotiate in real time. And I'm gonna put up some screenshots where I've negotiated with the AI feature on Amazon's load board. Even AI understands that in certain situations the rate need to go up. Like, it was Sunday, I believe, a load came up and it was like $590, but it had a bunch of stops, like 7 stops. And I'm like, that particular day I wanted to run during the day. So I'm like, I'm gonna do it, but I wanted to negotiate on the rate. It was like $590. I told them 700. You just tap the little message bar and you just put in that you got a truck available and the amount you will run for. And see, a lot of people don't know this yet. And you can negotiate with AI within the load board, looking at a load in real time. Now you got to be quick because it's probably a lot of other individual that's doing the same thing, or that'll just book it for whatever it's on the board for. So that's something you got to be careful with. But you can negotiate. So yeah, I told them 700. They told me 620. And they asked me why did I want to increase the rate? You know, what were the extenuating circumstances why I wanted to increase the rate? And I'm like, well, it's an excessive heat warning, one. Two, the driver over an hour away from the pickup. So they said 620. I said, I can't do it, but I appreciate it. They said 660. I said, I can't do. They said 694. I went on and took it. So like I said, even the AI feature understands that in certain situations, the rate should be increased. The rate shouldn't be the same for every situation. So that's how I choose what I run for or don't run for. And like I said, it's plenty nights that I went without a load when I really did want one. But the case in point is I'm not going to just run my truck to run my truck because something is better than nothing. Like I said, that's not always the case. And I feel like that's another narrative that's put out a lot. Oh, something is better than nothing. No, it's not. So if people want to take that mindset, go ahead. Whatever you need to do to run that load that is not covering your costs, whatever you need to tell yourself to do it, do it. But all I'm saying is I do not agree. Like I said, something not always better than nothing. So it just is what it is. But everybody got to do what's right for them. And I'm not criticizing or telling anybody what to or not to run for. I'm just saying that I don't agree with the narratives. That's my case in point. Mark up the debate to 10K. We having a 10K debate? I got a daytime contract. I made a couple dollars. I made a couple dollars now. I might got a couple dollars. No. Oh man. Right. I mean, you know, you coating their pockets by because he's saying, yeah, Amazon, you know, look at Prime Week. They was giving away money Prime Week. And it just so happened that I got the dedicated. It always happened like that, but I would have rather got the dedicated route during Prime Week than to just be able to. Because man, I probably could have hit 6,500, which was the most I ever hit with Amazon in 1 week. I probably could have hit 6,500 last week. It was abundant. It was abundant. It was nighttime loads. They was going for a G, 900, 800. The cheap early bookers was getting 6 and 700. Yeah, even y'all was getting good money too. But if you waited, them lows was going into the $9 and $1,000, you know, and I was making on average like 700 a night. You know, that's why I wasn't really trying to go too crazy because I can't now run my night tours too long because now I got, you know, commitments during the day. So I got to be real careful with how I'm booking my night loads. That way they not, which my daytime route is, it's a little flexible on the time, but I don't want to get disrespectful. Like I'm supposed to be there at 8. And usually I'm well done with whatever I'm running with Amazon. by 6 or 7. So it'll work out. But I don't want to be showing up at 10 and 11, you know what I'm saying? Just booking whatever, showing up whenever, and then I'm tired. Because right now it also fits where it's well within, 10 to 12 hours. So I could come out at what 1, 2 a.m. and be done by 1, 2 p.m. So it all kind of works out. But yeah, I don't want to get to pushing them times too crazy. And that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. A lot of today's box truck operators don't know their value and will accept anything. Exactly. And they look for narratives like it's no such thing as cheap freight to substantiate why they're doing what they're doing. But the crazy part is they don't just go out of business quietly. Because you see, if we gonna say that it's no such thing as cheap freight, then we might as well just take it a step further and say it's no such thing as out of business either. Like let's just take it, because I mean, let's just be real crazy, because if we're gonna say it's no such thing as cheap freight, it ain't no such thing as going out of business neither. Then believe that too, because they gonna go hand in hand. So when you think it ain't no such thing as cheap freight, just tell yourself it ain't no such thing as out of business either, and you're gonna be good, because it ain't gonna be no such thing as either. And then they gonna happen, and then you're gonna be in the live stream saying, no, cheap freight is real because I was taking it and now I can't pay my bills. Like, the insurance do. That be the result of a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Your insurance come due, you can't pay it. You know what I'm saying? The repo man, he looking for the truck. Well, I see the stories, I catch them, and I don't catch everything, but I watch from time to time, and I listen to some of these stories. And some people, a lot of people, they go outside. They start these box truck businesses. They put all this time, effort, I ain't gonna say hard work, but whatever, some dedication, and eventually it all go bad. And like I said, people, end up in dire situations because they don't understand, like he said, their value and what they should be running for. If more people, and this is another thing, if you don't think what the owner operators do affects the rates. And I know nobody gonna ever do this, but let's all just meet up somewhere and have a party one night. Let's just kick it. Park the trucks, sit on top of them, take pictures. Look, I'm gonna set the cameras up. We gonna make a YouTube video. Don't nobody go run no loads. They not gonna do that because can't nobody afford to take one night off. I understand that. But I'm saying if we all did that and we all could just pull the load board up or put it on a big TV screen and watch the race and watch what happened. That's what I'm telling. Let's just sit back and watch what happened when we do that. The rates are gonna go up. It's no way around it. They gotta go up. But people don't let the load sit long enough, especially nowadays. And like I said, I do believe that competition brings down rates. It does. I agree with that all day long. The more people you have purchasing equipment, having authorities, and running trucks, it's definitely going to affect the rates. Let me just say that. But if people were better educated on what they should or shouldn't be running for, and like I said, that's a narrative that it comes up a lot, and people say, well, hey, if I take this load for this amount, essentially I'm putting my foot on another owner operator's neck. And in my opinion, how can you tell me? Because see, this is something that it's came up in the past, and a lot of individuals, it's been talked about. we know this. So you could tell me, and I'm talking about the owner operators. I'm not talking about, because people run with narratives. So you say, well, yeah, I'm stepping on this person's neck, but you can't tell me the steps to calculate your cost per mile. You don't even know your cost per mile. Like, I've talked to plenty individuals that have no idea how to even go step by step and calculate their cost per mile. They've never done it. But you could tell me that if I take this load, I'm stepping on this individual neck. Man, I ain't gonna even go there. But the point I'm making is that makes no sense whatsoever. Like, how much sense does that make, that you could take a load for a cheaper rate and you don't even know your cost per mile to know if it's profitable, if you making any type of money whatsoever? You're just out here running loads. And like I said, people never go quietly and say, well, hey, you know, I made the decision to run these loads. I can't cover the cost for my bills. I've been running in the red for 6 months to a year. I'm going to just go quietly. No, that's not what individuals do. Instead, they come and they blame content creators, uh, Progressive and the insurance companies, the maintenance shop. It was their fault. They kept the truck, or the repo man and the finance company bamboozled them and got them into some type of predatory agreement. It's always something else other than it was me. And that's why I don't feel like we should give individuals a narrative to run with, because it just kind of, in my opinion, makes it 10 times worse. Because now, like I said, people feel enabled to just book loads, and they're not doing things that are in their best interest. They're just pretty much running loads and saying, hey, something better than nothing. I got something on the truck. The wheels are turning. Cool. And yeah, I don't agree with that. 5 Star Logistics said, what do you define cheap freight as? I said it a few times. You might have just joined the live stream, so I'm going to repeat it again. Any freight that you're running that is exactly or less than your cost to run that freight, I would consider cheap freight. So it's on an individual basis. You need to first know what your cost per mile is. And this is why I'm saying individuals haven't even done the legwork to know if they're running cheap freight or not. First, you got to do the work to know what your cost per mile is. Once you know that, then you want to try to run well above that. And I said well above that, not just cover it. I do not agree with just covering your cost per mile and that be okay. If you have to do that in certain situations to get from point A to point B, say you OTR, that makes sense. Hey, I got to run at my cost to get from Tennessee back over to Kansas because they got another load for me over there. So I'm going to run at my cost to move from here to there. That makes sense. But just running week by week at your cost, that to me don't make sense. And, you know, ultimately you're running for cheap. I'm not running a truck to break even. Great Polo said, I saw a few people book and They messing up money, don't know their cost per mile. Exactly. That's the whole point that I'm making. Individuals think that they undercutting or, beating out somebody else for a load when in all actuality, you stepping on your own business profits, and I'm trying to run for the maximum amount possible. Like I said, it's always different situations where that's not going to be the case, but I'm trying to run for the maximum amount possible. I'm not trying to run at my cost per mile on a regular basis. It just doesn't make sense. And a lot of people, they don't even know their cost. So how can you determine what rate? You just out here booking loads at that point. Prime is popping in my area. Yeah, I done heard a lot of good reviews on Prime. And like I said, from what I saw, it was a lot of money floating around. Amazon must got something going on because yeah, they definitely were, extending the money. It was out there. But at the same time, you had people jump at the first loads that popped up. And I saw some of that too. And then, because that's how they'll do it. At 6 p.m., you'll see a wave of loads pop up. And over time, when it's high volume, they'll just get better and better. As the night goes on, as stuff pop up, as people reject loads, the rates will go up. So it just depends on how long you waiting, and everybody has different, obligations. Like I said, now I have to kind of cut my days or my nights short. So I'm kind of seeing that side too, why people are quick to just book a load and go. Well, they might have an obligation in the morning and they don't have time to wait for stuff to increase. So they just book whatever they can to make some money, until they do whatever they're going to do next. So, I mean, you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. But like I said, all freight ain't good freight, in my opinion. I don't just want to run my truck. I want to run my truck effectively because this is the thing as well. When you regularly run above your costs, when things come up and issues arise, you're able to cover the expenses. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not running and breaking even, you're actually making a profit. If you running for exactly your costs, how you ever gonna be able to save and put away money for other things? So that's what you got to realize as well. If you just breaking even, then you just breaking even. You don't have anything to put into the pot, for a rainy day, nothing for whatever personal stuff. You just breaking even. You just making enough money to run your business. And if that's cool, then I know people that run trucking companies, they got jobs on the side. It got bad. Some people went back and I just hollered at somebody. He tripped me out. We talking and he like, yeah, everything going good now, this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah. So he like, oh shit, I got me a job. I work during the day and shit. I run the truck at night. I'm like, my dude, like, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what's best for you. Don't follow the fab of what's right and what's wrong out here, man. If you got to work a job and run a truck, why would you be ashamed of that? Is you get money? You get money, right? So somebody say, "Oh, man, he couldn't even make all the money with his truck company. Now he got to work a job. He making more money than you though, and that job is all profit." You see what I'm saying? So I respected it, but yeah, I was just hollered at a dude I hadn't seen in a while, and yeah, he like, "Man, I work a job during the day, run my truck at night." He like, "I'm good, everything kosher." And the last time I talked to him, he was struggling. He was going through some things, and just making certain moves and coming out of worrying about what other people, man, people always gonna have something to say about something. That's what I feel like individuals got to realize too. You never gonna make people happy. You know, the older you get, the more you're gonna realize like it's nothing you can do to make everybody happy. Somebody in the world, somewhere, it might be far, far away, it might be close, but they're gonna have a problem with you and what you're doing. I mean, that's life. And when you accept that and start worrying about it and then just do and be you, then you're gonna fare out a whole lot better. And that's why the older I get, the less I worry about what anybody got to say about anything that I do. Because at the end of the day, when I run into issues and problems and I hit brick walls and I got to make changes, ain't nobody gonna pick me up. I'm not even gonna ask you to pick me up. You see what I'm saying? But nobody gonna be there to pick you up and save you. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to dig yourself out that hole. So why would you worry about what the next person think about what you doing or what you got going on if what you doing is working for you? And that's why I say I understand people got to do what makes sense for their business. So I 100% agree. If that load for $1.99 a mile is supplementing your cost and you making some money and you can run it then. But if your cost $1.59 and you running a load for $1.59 and you doing that all the time, then I mean, you might need to make some changes. That's all I'm gonna say. Like you may need to reevaluate. Maybe you need to go get a job. Maybe that's why I think too. Maybe some other individuals maybe need to consider getting a job. That way they ain't so pressed about these loads. You see what I'm saying? Like maybe on the side, get a part-time job, go be a security guard or something. Go anything. Like that way you ain't so pressed about getting a load to where you need to just book anything that don't make sense and just tell yourself in your head, well, I'm just keeping the truck moving. I'm keeping the wheels turning. You know, I'm breaking even. I'm right. It is at my cost per mile. My cost per mile $1.80. It's $1.80, so that's good. No, that's not good. That's bad. Does your performance score dictate what type of loads you see on Amazon Relay? Of course. Yes, it's that performance score is imperative nowadays. Like you have to maintain 100% pretty much. Soon as you slip to 99, I don't think I be seeing everything at 100%. I think they hiding lows from me because I promise they not showing me everything. But if you at 100%, you supposed to be seeing everything. But yes, if you slip to 99, 98, I know people that have slipped out of Amazon's good graces, and yeah, they gonna put you in a doghouse. It get rough. You would think ain't no load. It be trucks rolling all past you. I see individuals going through it. They be looking at their phone, everything moving, trucks coming and going, loading and leaving, bringing stuff, taking stuff, and you sitting there looking at the load board, and you wouldn't think nothing going on. Like that's how it is nowadays. So yeah, you definitely, if you run an Amazon, you want to stay on top of keeping your performance score at a certain level to where, yeah, it just puts you in a position where you're seeing all of the lows because, yeah, Amazon get tricky. Like I said, sometimes I'm looking at the board. And some nights I want to get a load and I'm only seeing 3 and 4 lows over the course of the whole night. Like before Prime, yeah, I wasn't seeing much some nights. It just depends on the nights. But some I advise people to do, to kind of just get a better understanding. If you know people inside the Amazon facilities, talk to them. And then you could get good intel. But what I've started to do in the last couple months is just be more in depth with like my documentation. And I almost damn near keep like a daily journal. Even if I don't get a load, I kind of document what I've seen because I was talking to somebody in Amazon and certain nights are slower than others. And if you know what nights these are, you're gonna fare out a lot better. Because he was telling me on this particular night, just book a load as soon as you can because it's gonna be scarce because of such and such. I'm like, see, that's good to know. That way I'm not just sitting around waiting for stuff to come out and nothing's coming out. So if you could get cool with the Amazon employees or get some intel that way, that's great. But you got to be careful with that because you don't want to run into no issues or no trouble. Me, I just try to, man, I don't even be really wanting to be in these Amazon facilities. I try to get in and out as quick as possible. Like day by day, it turns more and more to a circus for me. Like you pull on, as soon as you pull on a lot, like weird shit start happening. Like you start almost getting into accidents. We all doing 5 miles per hour. Well, most of us. But like I pulled in the other night and some idiot, you know, he, you get people that just playing impatient and shit. We all doing the same thing. We coming in here to load. Get in line, wait, do the speed limit, go to your door. Like you got people that want to speed around all the other traffic. You want to do 15, 20 through the lot, drive all crazy. People like, damn, what the hell you doing? You think the shit funny. And I ain't talking about young individuals, 20, the particular individual that I'm, thinking of right now, this guy over 40 years old. I know he is. He got gray hair and everything. And I pull in a lot and he's behind like 3 trucks. He speed around all the trucks, turn out reckless in front of everybody, bag up all crazy and stupid, not even in a straight line, just reckless, and then get out thinking everything funny. And then when I walk in the facility and I'm standing behind the dude, he won't look one person in the eye. Now but in a lot, and these are drivers, these are individuals that's operating other individuals' trucks that, are out here playing games because this is the truck he was driving is like a chain of trucks. It's a company, they got a few trucks. And, yeah, you just out here reckless. You don't care about, and that's why I stay away from, like I'm looking into possibly getting right now like a Sprinter van or two. But I don't even really want to put a driver in a box truck. And it's because I see stuff like that on a daily basis. Like individuals just out here clowning around in racing in the trucks. Everybody race each other to the post offices. If you get by a truck that think you going to the post office, that they going to the post office, the same one, all hell breaking loose. They finna make that truck do 80 miles an hour on local streets. On local streets. I'm talking about stump. If they think you finna get to the post office before them and you're gonna dock before them and they gonna have to wait on you, all hell break loose. I'm talking about it turning to NASCAR out there. And I'm like, it's just this is just, it's just a lot of crazy stuff that go on. And a lot of it is drivers. It's not even the owner operators. The owner operators at home wondering why they keep having maintenance events every week or two. It's your driver. Some people, I'm like, if the owner saw how you drive his truck, you get fired today. He wouldn't put you back in the truck ever. And it's just a lot of clowning around. Like, and I don't even think it's just with Amazon. It's just in the world in general. I think it's just everybody now, people don't want to do nothing without getting attention. You see, it ain't cool to just enjoy yourself and, somebody got to see it. And it's this social area or era that we live in. If people don't see it, then it wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying? Like people go on vacation and the entire, vacation is spent on a phone or with a camera or, that's the social era. That's the era we live in now. But the point I'm getting at is I feel like it's a lot of individuals that are doing shit for attention. You see what I'm saying? You got attention and energy vultures. That's literally what I call them. You know, energy is precious. It's more valuable than money. And something that I was now I'm going off topic, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I don't care. You know, something that I just been kind of realizing lately, you know, because I read and I look into different stuff because I always question why about different things, you know, why certain people operate the way they do, why certain people, you know, look outward at others and, you know, have certain type of feelings about certain type of things, you know, and people think it all pertains back to like money. You know, I think that's what a lot of people think. Oh, you know, happiness, and you know, if people got money, they, you know, they better than you or they're happier than you, and so forth. And what I'm realizing, like I've been reading, you know, I do audio books, a lot of different stuff. I drive a lot, so I had time to, you know, and what I realized is, you know, and I was just kind of looking into this, and it dawned on me. I'm like, damn, that's real. But no matter how much money a person makes, you know, material things that an individual obtains, you know, no matter what their career or uh what their level of success is in life, some individuals, and it's just real, and I never thought of this, some individuals have an inability to be happy. Like, they job don't make them happy, the money don't make them happy, they woman or they man don't make them happy. Like, they chase the success. This is none of it makes them happy. They never feel fulfilled. And that's why I say at the end of the day, money ain't it. Like, people, we all think, oh, you ball out and then you good, bro. People got money and still can't be happy. Like, people got material shit and they still can't be happy. So you will wonder why, man, I'm, you know, this person got more than me. Why they fucking with me? You know, why they this, that, and the other. Bro, you genuinely are happy. And like I've been reading, I'm like, they can't get that. They can't buy that. You see what I'm saying? They got more money than you, but they can't buy your mindset and your demeanor and the way you move and your outlook on life. They can't pay for that. So when people think why people do certain shit, why this guy doing this or why this guy doing that, man, that guy not happy. And so that's why the more and more I read, like it give me clarity on different stuff. So sometimes that too, like people be chasing the money. They think that the business gonna bring them money and the money gonna bring them happiness. Man, the money might be the source of your problem. You know, you might be happy without the money. So this just, you know, something I was thinking about. And this, like I said, it's kind of off topic, but I just been looking into shit and I'm just like, certain people, the way they move and they demeanor, you wonder why. And, you know, overall, when it really boils down to it, that's the conclusion I'm coming to, that it's certain things in life, it's a certain resolve that you cannot buy. You see what I'm saying? And it reeks off of you. You know, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. But if you are an individual that are genuinely overall happy in your life, cherish that. Cause like I said, you cannot buy or pay for that. So it's not always about money or, you know, success. You know, you got a person that got the minimum, but they have happiness, you know. So like I said, you got to do what's best for you. Over, I know that was a rant, but I had to give y'all some of like my personal thoughts as well. And then to me, it ties into why a lot of people do what they do. Like I said, you see people do stuff. Me, I do. I don't know about y'all, but I see people do stuff and I wonder why. Why did he do that? That was lame as hell. That looked like some hating ass shit he just did. Why he do that? I wonder. And so I try not to. A lot of times I could ignore it, but sometimes I wonder why. And so I search for the answers. Why do people do what they do? And that's part of the conclusion that I came to. I know that ain't everything, it's always variables, but some people like it's certain shit that they're not able to buy with money. So that's why you'll see a person in a higher position, trying to hold back or just anything with somebody you would think, well, money don't set you apart. Just put it like that. You may think it does, but it don't. Not spirit wise. Five-star logistics said volume greater than truck capacity equals higher rates. I agree. I agree with that. Volume greater than truck capacity. Yeah, I agree with that. That's true. But at the same time, just like during Prime, we saw volume was greater than the truck capacity because they were paying for those loads. But individuals were still taking stuff for lesser than. That's the point I'm making. So even when individuals can get more, they so used to running for lesser. Well, me, I had an exact opposite problem. And I just talked to somebody, he was saying the same thing. He was like, pretty much sometimes he'll catch himself being greedy. I do. And when I do, I curse myself out in the truck and go to sleep. You stupid. Because sometimes it's loads that I should have took that I don't. Because I be playing with my own mind, like, no, see, something else gonna come up later that's gonna pay more and it's gonna be better. You just gotta be patient. Every night that don't happen. Sometimes I crap out. And I coach myself like, no, don't be mad. You made a decision not to book a load. You looked at that load for 5 minutes, it was sitting there. And you didn't want. So now this is why you in the situation you in. So that's just kind of how I, go about things. Like if I crap out, I crap out. But I'm not gonna run for cheap because I'm more unhappy running a load than I am going to sleep. And I'm just going, once I go to sleep, it's tomorrow, it's a new day, and then it don't matter. But if I run that load the whole time I'm running that load, the whole time I'm on the way back, like I said, I'm in a bad headspace that I really don't want to be in because I feel like I'm not knowing my worth. Like I'm doing Amazon a favor. I'm not here to do Amazon favors. Like this is a business deal. We're supposed to be give and take. Like I'm not running loads to pay you or to no, I'm not doing that. So I mean, that's just my thought process. But I have bad nights, plenty. Sometimes with them bad thoughts, because once you start crapping out a lot, you get them bad thoughts, get to start creeping in. Like, what am I really doing? Like, why am I even doing this? This just ain't making no sense. I go to sleep, get up tomorrow with a whole different mindset. Like, you made the decision to sit here. You could be running a low right now that's profitable, but you chose to sit here. Deal with it. The same way if you chose to run for cheap, deal with it. Don't come in a live stream asking for help. Just go out of business. Just go out of business peacefully. Don't come in these live streams. Please help. Smoking joints, stressed out. You know what I'm saying? You all in the back. Like, no. Like, just deal with the decisions that you made. And that's just my thing. It's like they never like take they L. They always come back and say, No, it was progressive. Progressive? Progressive ain't put you out of business, man. And like that's where it's going. It wasn't me. It was Amazon. No, it was Amazon. Amazon did it to me. They not right, or is it y'all ain't right? Have y'all been doing Amazon in the last 2 3 years? Is that what? Is that did Amazon do y'all in, or did y'all do them in? Like let's keep it real. We keeping it real tonight. Who really did who in? Cause some of y'all was jerking Amazon. Like for real. Y'all was doing Amazon dirty and you know it. And see now, once again, the victim role. Now they changed the tables. They got AI all over the app. Take a picture. How much you want to bid this load for? AI running everything. Y'all can't do nothing. Y'all can't double book nothing. Now they don't want to play the game no more. Forget Amazon. They too smart now. Amazon and wisened up. They ain't going. They want photos every 5 minutes at the post office, at the sort center. Everywhere you go, they want a photo. You can't sneak. No, now people, it's Amazon. No, it ain't Amazon. Y'all did this. See, that's what people don't want to hear. They did this and then turn around and play the victim role and say Amazon ain't put you out of business. You did it to yourself because you know, the different things you wanted to go overboard with. It's been stuff going on, but it's individuals that took it to a whole nother level and then was Captain Obvious with it on top of it. Like just publicizing stuff that shouldn't have even never been spoke on. And now, you know, I don't agree. But like I say, I guess that's the thing nowadays. And Great Polo, I saw this when I was answering a 5 star, but every time I do a live, you say I gotta get a new setup. Say I'm 5 minutes. I'm not really watching the comments. Like I got a body of work that I want to go through and topics I want to touch on. Like, man, y'all talking about the death in the comments. Like y'all on my next live stream. Y'all not even here with me. Y'all ahead of the game. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, y'all talking about death. I'm not talking about death today. Prime week could be every week if people just let the load sit for a bit. They'll increase the rates. They have to move the freight. Exactly. And it used to happen. And I know some of it had to do with the pandemic and higher volume. It did. But some of this ties into the carrier's behavior as well. And that's just the point I'm making. Like I said, if everybody, it's never gonna happen. I don't expect no people got to do what they got to do. People got kids to feed. They got to run what they're gonna run. But if everybody went somewhere, looked at the load board, and nobody went to Amazon, man, the whole process will break down. They'll be putting out loads the next day at 11 a.m., begging people to come get them. And everybody be running daytime loads. If we all met up and just didn't book nothing for one night, but like I said, that's not gonna happen. It's wishful thinking. I would do it. We ain't even got to meet up. Just don't go to Amazon and don't go run a load and then see what happens the next day. Shit gonna go crazy. 7, 8, 900. But yeah, so carrier behavior, the algorithm on Amazon's load board, you see they got AI over everything. Like that's influencing the rates to some degree. We could all easily be getting $3 a mile. Come on now. $3 a mile, which ain't a lot to ask. Like I said, when you break that in half, because most of us are dead heading back, especially with Amazon. So if you're getting $3 a mile, if you break that in half, that's $1.50 each way. How is that too much to ask? When Most people's cost per mile is above $1.50. That's the point I'm making. Usually, individuals are running, if you calculate both ways, for less than their cost per mile. But that is not cheap freight. So what is it? Somebody put it in the chat right now. If your cost per mile $1.58, you take a load for $3 a mile, you break that in half to $1.50 each way. So you running 8 cents below your cost per mile. What is that called? It ain't cheap freight. So what is it then? Like, somebody drop it in the chat for me, please. Please, I'm gonna go to the bottom because I just want to see, what would you call that if we not gonna call it cheap freight? A job is guaranteed money as long as you show up. It's definitely nothing wrong with a job, especially if you're running a business and you're not effective and it's not profitable. Then, like I said, you following a fab, you jumping on a wave. You technically would be better off working a job, and a lot of individuals would. It's just the truth. I mean, I ain't trying to be brash or talk down on nobody, but some people are not meant to be in trucks, and it's no evaluation. Let me say this, right? And I probably should, I'm gonna say it anyway, because whatever. In high school, when we, or in school in general, forget high school, elementary school, wherever, when the students come in and they start taking classes, you see what I'm saying? And the teachers and the school staff interacts with the students, and they start to evaluate which students are on which levels. We all went to school. This is all applied, and I'm not being funny. But when teachers realize that certain individuals, either learning wise or emotional wise, are not on the same level as the other kids within their age groups, they put them in special classes. You see what I'm saying? Like a learning class, because it's a learning issue here. They've realized and, pointed that out, and they saying, well, hey, he needs, nothing wrong with that. It happens. People have kids like that. I'm not making fun out of it. I'm just saying that the school staff takes the time to go through that process to say, hey, he learned a little slower than him. Put him in this class with them. That way you could teach him a certain way. Or his emotions, he emotionally unfit to be around other kids, but he just reach out, touch people for no reason. So we got to put him in this type of class with those type of kids. That way we could give him what I'm saying is DOT don't do that. You see what I'm saying? You could take $300 and get a motor carrier authority and wait 30 days, get insurance, and start running the truck. It's no separation or any type of other than a DOT physical. What does DOT do to say this dude not mentally fit to be in a truck? You could go in there and play the role. It's no real evaluation process to pretty much put a person in a truck. So what I'm telling you is, when you out here, and I just said it earlier in the live stream, you amongst an individual and you might think that they own the same mental plane as you, and y'all, work. That may not be the case. Like, this dude paid for a motor carrier authority. He came up with $1,800 for his insurance, and he out here now with you. And you wondering why Buddy be doing some of the things he was doing. Not being funny. Buddy was in one of them classes back then. You know what I'm saying? He has never interacted with like the general, like he been separated. And now he just out here with us on a day-to-day, and you think this why this person doing this or driving this truck this way or why he communicating with these people like he act like he don't like I went in a place and I hear another owner operator the way he communicating just with the staff. You see what I'm saying? At the you could tell he like oh, my throat don't fit, just screaming and yelling, hooping and hollering like, and it's like, bro, why you communicating with these people like this? Like, calm down. It's not that serious. But some people just high strung, and like I said, you don't control that. But it need to be identified so people know why you doing what you doing out here. Cause like I say, I see stuff that I always question on a day-to-day, like why I see altercations at the truck stops, amongst I think mental health need to be discussed, in a lot of these situations. I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna leave it at that because I ain't gonna, get too deep into it. But what I'm saying is at this point, it's not a lot of separation between one individual and the other. It's easy to get a DOT number. It's easy to start a trucking company. So you need to be careful out here and just realize that everybody is not mentally in the same space, as well as dealing with life issues, and just different things in general. So that's why I kind of touched on, earlier, like you have to be careful what type of narrative you give like some people comprehend and understand what you getting at. Like, okay, if it's supporting your business, run it. It makes sense. But certain individuals gonna take that and go the wrong direction with it. And that's why I wanted to do this live stream. So those individuals, can understand that sometimes you might need to sit a load out. Sometimes you may need to be a little patient and wait a little bit. Every load is not necessary. You cannot book any, because this is what I think people are taking from it. I can book whatever as long as my truck moving and I'm going to be profitable. I'm going to be successful. That's not the case at all. By any means, that is not the case. If you just randomly go out here and book loads, you're going to find yourself in a bind, over the long haul eventually. And I said this a long time ago. You can run in the red for a long time. It's individuals that, they essentially pretty much fail up until they fail out. So you'll have people getting by and, like me and discuss, your business really don't have no money, but you able to cover because you run for your cost per mile. You break even. So you have enough money to cover the cost, and then you struggling again to you. So essentially with a box truck business, you're running check to check still, just like if you was working a job, just like what he was saying, ain't nothing wrong with a job because sometimes, people have a business and they live in check to check. They waiting on a check to pay this bill or they borrow. So, I mean, what's really the difference? Like I said, you could go in somewhere and use somebody else's resources, use their products. They're going, people go in the bathroom at work, they roll all of the toilet paper off of the road. They don't care about nothing. So that's what I'm saying. You may be better off doing something like that as opposed to running a business if you do not understand costs and what's profitable and what's not profitable. And you think that it's no such thing as cheap freight and that you can run anything. You just pick a load and run it, and it's not going to be any consequences. You're not going to end up in a live stream, with a sob story about how this, that. And like I said, it's always something or somebody else that caused the individual. You rarely hear people take accountability and say, well, hey, you know what? No, it was me, man. I was just running whatever I had. Well, I've heard people say that, I'm gonna take that back. I have heard people hold themselves somewhat accountable, but overall, not quite. Not quite. Can you run a box truck to get $1,000 per day? You can make $1,000 or more some days. I'm not gonna say per day, unless you got some type of system set up to where like you got like a dedicated where in the morning you're gonna have, but you're gonna have to get that set up to that point to where you could make 1,000 a day. And even then, I wouldn't say that's guaranteed every day. Maybe 5 to 7 would be more feasible. But 1,000 a day, you just kind of got to know how to route your truck and have some connections, some resources, or something dedicated. But I would say, yeah, 5 to 7 would be more feasible for somebody that got moderate connections and know how to move the truck. That'll make a little more sense, especially in today's times. Most definitely. But yeah, just to sum that all up, if you get the right resources in place, you can make more than 1,000 a day. But you're not just gonna come in doing that. Amazon implemented the performance score so they could manipulate the rates better. Of course. Yeah, Amazon caught on to that a year or more ago, and they just getting stricter and stricter with everything. But I mean, I think it's just a cause and effect situation to where individuals abuse the system and they crack down. I mean, it wasn't like this when I started running Amazon in what 2020, 2021. It wasn't, you could get away with, it was a lot going on back then. And it even got to the point where people were advertising stuff on social media and so forth. So the point I'm kind of making is, you know, it's been a crackdown due to what different carriers have been doing. Like I said, you cannot pull in there without somebody driving reckless, people arguing with the staff and so forth. And a company like Amazon with, the volume that they have and the pull that they have in the logistics world in general, it's only so long they gonna put up with that type of delinquency. People unable to back then, before the performance score was what it is, individuals will book loads, see a better load, reject the load they got, book the next one. See a better load, they reject that one too, book another one. Amazon implemented different performance score metrics to make it more stricter. And it's more of a penalty for you doing that now. So they've kind of cracked down year by year, more and more to where, yeah, a lot of the people who are used to running under the old ways, they don't even want to really run Amazon now because you got to abide by so many different rules. And it's just it's a whole lot that don't meet the eye. People think I talk about a lot on videos and live streams. I actually don't talk about a lot. It's, I probably talk about 60% of what I know. Certain stuff I purposely omit just to kind of, not put certain people in the hot seat. But man, it's so much that don't meet the eye that's occurring on a day-to-day still. People just have to get slicker with it. And, like I say, a bunch of stuff I don't even mention because it ain't even worth the time. And we've seen, what's happened year by year. And it's going to continue to happen till they flush everybody or most of the owner operators out. And it's something that the owner operators really don't have control over because to me, like I said, the case where I saw the guy being reckless and stupid at Amazon, these are drivers. They don't care. They just showing up to get a check. They don't care if they tear up your equipment. They don't care if your account gets suspended. They're gonna go on Indeed and go work for the next person that's hiring Amazon, or they might even go work for the DSP, and that might be better. So the drivers have options once they trash your truck or they trash your trucking company. You're gonna be the one left out in the cold. And that's why I would monitor drivers. I'm glad I don't have none. But if you have drivers, I would monitor them more closely because you think you got a good guy driving your, and like I said, buddy, running, racing in your truck, like just doing, burning up your brakes, hard stopping for no reason, like just stunting in the truck for what? It's a box truck. Like, who? This is for work. This is a work vehicle. Like, why are you operating this truck like this? You see what I'm saying? But because it's not yours. You didn't pay $150,000 for a 2020 or a 2022. They don't. It's just a piece of equipment to them. And I've had, like I said, I had a driver, scuff my roof from front to back on an Enterprise truck, and look, it was just a scrape. And the whole rest of the time I had the truck, because the driver left, other drivers got into the truck. It wasn't cut through. You could just look up in the truck and see that something had touched the roof and dug into it from front to back. But it was the aluminum roof. It wasn't that paper, roof that a lot of trucks got. So long story short, yeah, I was worried about that for months and months until I turned that truck back in. And Enterprise didn't give me no problems with it. And then I got other trucks that look just as bad or worse. So they say if it's not through the paint, then it don't really count. If it go through the paint, or of course, if it cut through the aluminum, then you got a problem. But because it didn't go through, so otherwise I would have had to pay for a whole roof and have a claim on a truck. And when I got the truck back and I first noticed it, I asked the driver about it. Wasn't me. You was the only one in the truck during this time frame. It wasn't like this the last time I did a load. I don't know what happened. And so then once you question them on something like that, what you think they're gonna start doing? They go start looking for somewhere. They know, well, okay, this is about the end of the road. Time for me to find somebody else to go work for. Like, and that's what they do. So that's why I say drivers in your equipment, you gotta monitor them closely. They will cost you your business by little petty shit that they doing out here on the road that makes no sense whatsoever. They doing the shit for attention. People just want to be seen and acknowledged. Like, what do that really mean? Another person? I don't know. I'm not even gonna get into that, but a lot of this stuff is done for attention. So a person seeking attention will tear up your truck and then act like they don't know what happened. And that'd be that. If your score, Mike Poor said, if your score low, you ain't getting no premium loads. Yeah. Amazon didn't figure the performance score metrics out. You literally almost have to be 100% in order to get anything worthwhile with Amazon nowadays. And that's just facts. You're not getting anything worthwhile with Amazon if you don't have a 100% or maybe a 99, but I know people that's 98s and 99s, and it's taking them a lot of time to see a load that I'm looking at right then. So they stalling you out for a long time as soon as you're not 100%. Can you show us the AI feature you mentioned? I do that in the upcoming video for you, 5-star logistics. I was gonna do it anyway because yeah, I got a screenshot on that load that I negotiated. Like I said, it was like 590 that they was offering. And yeah, I told them 700. It was on a Sunday. It was like it was in the last couple Sundays that I did that. And my homeboy, he told me about it because he lost the load negotiate with him because he like me, he trying to get 200 over what they offering. So they offering 5, he asking for 7. And in the midst of him negotiating, somebody snatched the load for the cheap. So he was like, I had them, but somebody took it off the board when I had them on the hook for 200 more before they could send it to him. So yeah, it was 590. I was like, I do it for 7. I just wanted to start the week off, get a quick 700 during the day on a Sunday. So that's why I was booking it. And yeah, it was like 692, 694. But yeah, I'll put that in the upcoming video just to show you guys. And it's a little box. My damn phone dead. I'll show you right now. Damn. Yeah, my phone dead right now. The phone I got right here. But it's a little box with 3 red dots in it. And anytime an urgent load comes up, you could tap on it. And when you tap on it, it'll bring up a box that'll say, hey, we got this urgent load for this time, for this amount. Do you have a truck available? And you tell the box, yes, I have a truck available, but for whatever amount you want to run for. And when you put it in there, it's going to recognize whatever dollar amount. And it's going to say, we understand that you're asking for $700, which is an increase for this load. Why do you need this increase? What are the extenuating circumstances that's why you asking for more money? And you could just say whatever. Hey, I'm an hour away. Hey, it's hot outside. Hey, the sky blue. Hey, the clouds white. Hey, the rain clear. Whatever you want, whatever you want to say, and they will go up on the price and match you. So, yeah, I was scared to communicate with them because I thought they was just gonna assign me the load, and then I realized that wasn't the case. They're gonna go through the due process of asking you, do you accept this load for this amount? And if at any time you don't want it, you could just X out and it'll clear that load out of the system. But I think it's a cool feature because even if, I know some people, they may only get 20, 30 extra dollars on a load. They're going to take whatever the first offer that AI puts out. I mean, at least you're getting more for it than what it's posted on the board for. And that kind of also going to help with like the algorithm. So to me, it makes sense overall that you have some way to negotiate in real time without Amazon having to call you or you having to pretty much go on DAT, because a lot of times that's where the trickle to. But it's all a setup for them to get the loads out for cheaper, because now the loads are going to sit there for less time because you have people that can tap that box, like I said, put in the amount, and people will take $20, $30 extra and keep going. When if you negotiate with them, I guarantee you could at least get $50 to $100 more out of those negotiations. But you got to just kind of know how to, word stuff. But yeah, I've got a couple where they negotiated with me. The cheapest and easiest way to maintain an authority while waiting on that 6 months for Amazon would be to get a cargo van. the cheapest, raggediest, oldest cargo van you could get. And yeah, you put insurance on that because the insurance for a cheaper cargo van is going to be or older cargo van is going to be substantially cheaper than if you had a box truck or a new cargo van like a Sprinter. So get you like a 96 GMC, whatever, and put the insurance on that. And your insurance is going to be substantially cheaper. And I believe you're not going to have to carry the 750,000 requirement. You could probably carry like 300,000, on your authority because you're running a cargo van as opposed to a box truck. So if I was trying to be cheap coming in, waiting for my authority to age, I would just get an old 90-something cargo van. And not even, well, it ain't no Sprinters back then. So yeah, just a little bitty cargo van and insure that and go from there. That would be your best bet, the cheapest route in. Oh, well, he said it the next comment. So I said all that for nothing. Should I get my MC as a cargo van, then switch over to a box truck? Yes. Yeah, that's what you should do. Any suggestions when going out here purchasing a truck? I would try to probably stay away from rental trucks if possible. I'm gonna just be honest, just from the experience that I had, I would avoid rental trucks if possible, definitely. And I ain't being funny, but once again, just from my experience, I would never buy a truck from Penske. That's just my experience. And my truck is running fine now. I still would never buy a truck from Penske again, ever, ever, ever. So, I mean, my first choice would probably be Ryder or Enterprise if it was me. But I mean, yeah, my experience, just with purchasing a rental truck in general, if you got the money or you got the loan, you got the financing for the truck, just take your time and do your due diligence and look around and evaluate. And like I said, do you want dev? Do you not want dev? But I wouldn't just run out and jump at the first thing, or Penske got that fancy website. A lot of them have this website set up, and they tell you all of this good stuff, and when you really get into having issues with them, they treat you like shit. So it's like, to reel you in, of course they tell you all of this good stuff, but when you get to running into issues, and I will say this, like, the small issues they'll fix. It's when they sell you a truck with major issues that then you get to getting into it with them. Trans, engine, drivetrain, stuff like that. They don't want to foot the bill on that type of stuff. Now, small stuff, a starter, the air don't work, they'll fix that stuff. But the major stuff to me is what matters. So if I'm going to have an engine problem 2 months out and then you're going to deny all liability, then no, I don't want to buy a truck from you. So, yeah, that's my stay away from rental trucks if possible. And I would just take my time. And even then, you could still run into issues, but I definitely would, be patient and take time in that buying process, because once you start running into them problems, none of that stuff is really worth it. Nobody should do any loads with more than one stop. I used to be strict about the stops, but the more and more competitive it gets and the lower the rates go, I mean, you kind of got to come out that comfort zone and run what you can. So I found myself doing up to 7 stops lately. I don't like it, but I mean, sometimes that's just kind of what you got to do. to run profitable loads. If I got to do more stops to be profitable and the lesser stops aren't making sense profit wise, then you just kind of got to do what you got to do. We got 17 people in here and 11 likes. Somebody hit the like button for me. We 2 hours in. I'm giving y'all a little time today. Somebody hit the like button for me. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. If you in and you ain't hit the like button, please do so. That'll push the stream out to other people. And then it just kind of, to me, I go off of engagement. So if these live streams are engaging and like right now, it look like the chat going crazy. I can't even keep up, but that's going to kind of determine, what's going on. And then box truck content has been like slipping lately. I appreciate everybody that hit the like button too, but it's been slipping as far as views wise and so forth. Like it's been down. And I know I was away for a little while, but yeah, the space been, kind of slipping. And, we trying to kind of it's kind of pushing it now to more people. But yeah, we kind of trying to, bring the space back. And that's why I wanted to do this debate. It's not so much like people brought up Mark, a couple times. And I talked to Mark probably maybe 2-3 weeks ago. We talked here and there behind the scenes about shit outside of box trucking. So it ain't no sneak dissing or no like I got it. We could talk, on the phone behind the scene, and we do. But like I said, it's not necessarily about box trucking. But I feel like that the engagement is healthy, for the space. These type of debates, they need to be opened up, and discussed. And I feel like people that are, like I said, it's stuff being said behind the scenes that people are not comfortable saying in public. And so I just kind of wanted to bring that to light. You could kind of see in the chat, it's 50-50. But, I believe that it's perception, and like I said, certain people take a certain narrative out of context, which, causes all the confusion. It's not necessarily, that cheap freight does or does not exist. It is what cheap freight actually means to you and your business, what your cost per mile is, and what you could afford to run for. That's what makes sense. I get tired of individuals, like I said, playing the blame game when, at the end of the day, it's mostly the decisions you made. I do it too. I talk to my homie about, we all do it. We as business owners all do self-defeating things. Like I said, if it's not taking something that don't cover your costs, it's not taking something that does. That'll be my problem sometimes. Sometimes I won't take something that does cover my costs, and I waste a whole night. But hey, I'm willing to sacrifice that to run for the amount that I want. So it's more to each his own than, just the context of if it is a such thing as cheap freight or not. Like I said, it's just more of what is your cost. That's kind of, knowing your cost first and foremost, which that's kind of been talked about forever. You cannot step on another or you can't do none of that till you know your costs and you understand what you are profiting before you could ever begin to try to compete with anybody else and that's what that's the main point I'm trying to make. Before you start competing with somebody else, undercutting somebody else, taking a load for lesser, at least take the time to understand your costs. And then do whatever you see necessary. If you want to compete, compete. If you want to put your foot on his neck and twist it like you putting out a cigarette, do that. But at the same time, know your costs and what's profitable and what's not. You know, don't just because I heard somebody say this and it sound cool, or because I like this person, or because like I said, I may not agree with one thing that somebody says and something else is spot on. I 100%. So that's what I'm saying. That's why these type of debates and opening up, this dialogue to me is healthy. It's a lot of other stuff that go on that, don't even matter. To me, this type of stuff matters, and it need to be talked about because we had new people that don't actually understand how to run their trucks and they want to. It's innocent. They just don't have the knowledge or the know-how and they not able to comprehend, what's being said. Like I said, it's being taken out of context. So that's the whole point I'm making. It ain't about, a personal thing or somebody, what Gray Polo said, I'm trying to start a bunch of mess. No, it's healthy. And then maybe some other people will step up and say, hey, this is my opinion. What it's other content creators too. What are their opinions on, this cheap freight debate? Because apparently it's popular. So, but I'm gonna try to get through some of these because I ain't gonna be on here much longer. I'm gonna try to get through some of these comments, or I'm gonna try to get through all of them before I go. But man, I don't know if that's we're gonna see. I remember they used. Yeah, Amazon. Who is it? Maximize Truck and said, I remember they used to reset your score when they made changes. Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember them resetting the scores when they made changes. That could have been the case. Maybe it was before I came in. But yeah, I don't necessarily remember that. Amazon should not penalize you when they cancel a load. Can you explain that? I don't understand how they penalize. When a load is canceled, if it's within 2 hours, you should get a 175 truck order not used. Now, if you reject the load, that's a penalty. But if Amazon cancels a load, you should not ever be penalized. Now, I don't think that'll count towards improving your score if you're trying to bring your score back up. But yeah, you should not be penalized if they cancel a load on you. That's something you might need to talk to your performance manager about. Even when they mess up, it affects your score. Yeah, the interstate up here was closed for a while due to like some power lines and some other stuff, and that caused havoc on a lot of people's scores due to people not being able to get to ORD9 is where it happened at. So I-55 was shut down for 3, 4, 5 days, and a lot of carriers ended up catching infractions due to that shutdown. And yeah, it was a whole bunch going on. I rejected a load one of those nights because I get 5 minutes away from the facility and I cannot get around. It's telling me to go back out 45 minutes to go in a circle when I'm 5 minutes away from ORD9. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And yeah, I didn't get a load that night. And because that's something too. If you reject a load, I was talking to somebody about this. You'll never see that load again on the board. Like they won't show it to you again. You'll see other loads after you reject a load. But say you reject a load going to East Moline one night, you won't see that load come up again, even under a different V-rig, because you rejected it. So yeah, I rejected a load. I was hoping that I would see something else once I was able to navigate around the roadblock, but I didn't end up getting nothing that night. So that was a night I took a loss. Like, I mean, but Amazon, the way they performance is set up is crazy because you can reject a load on the way to the facility due to weather because it was unsafe. But if you arrive at the facility late, your arrival, if you're late on arrival to the facility, you cannot blame that on weather. You have to be on time to the facility. Now, the proceeding stops after you leave the facility. Once again, you can blame them on the weather. But your arrival, you have to arrive at the facility on time or it's on you. But you could reject it on the way. And I was talking to somebody about this, and it's crazy. So if I would arrive 10 minutes late, 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late, I couldn't use the weather code and not get an infraction. I would have got an infraction. But I could reject the load due to it not being safe and the roads being blocked. So Amazon got their stipulations, but yeah, my performance manager told me that a long time ago. You have to arrive on time, no matter what the situation. Now, afterwards, the postal drops. You could be late too, and just blame that on the weather. So if anybody didn't know that, yeah, you can't arrive late, even in bad weather, and use the weather code. That's not how it works, performance wise. Great Polo said, "How my truck running now? My truck running real good right now, fortunately. So, yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed and I'm keeping my PMs done. Stuff gonna come up. Like I said, it's just the major stuff that I worry about. But small, minor stuff is gonna come up. And it seemed like they basing my PMs off of like a 8,000 mile, time frame. And that 8,000 miles come up so quick. It's like you doing a PM shit damn near every 3-4 weeks. You running through 8,000 miles. But I know if you run synthetic in your truck, you could get some extra. I know Enterprise is running their trucks like 20,000 miles, but they use synthetic oil, which they say increases the lifetime of the oil. So I don't know. I run regular oil. I'm not running synthetic. And it's like every 8,000 miles. But yeah, the truck running decent right now. I definitely can't complain. Like stuff has been kind of trying to, it was rough when it was super cold, and it's like things have been, I couldn't get study for a long time, like a solid 4 week time frame without some type of issue. And sometimes that's all you need is a good 30 days of running solid, and it could change things somewhat. But yeah, for a while I was just issue after issue, going back and forth with Penske and so forth. So it got crazy, but it always get better in the end. You just got to kind of stick with it. Yeah, over time, you know, things will get better. I haven't maximized truck and said I try to use poster truck to negotiate. It never works. I stopped using poster truck because that'll get you in a bind and mess up your score like quicker than anything. So I actually haven't used poster truck in probably a good 6 months, at least three, but it may be closer to six. Yeah, I kind of quit messing with it because it'll just match you. You don't see it, and then now you got a issue for no reason. You and Mark, the only content creators we got for box trucks. Box truck couple ain't really hitting. They more of a TV show than information. No, and something else too, man. I'm finna really, I'm a turn the information up too. Like I got like um five way. Y'all like those videos. I gotta do more of those, where you just kind of give people a clear cut guide of so many things to follow to, reach a certain goal and different things you should implement. So I am going, don't think that because right now I'm educating through just my content in general. I talk a lot about negotiating and stuff like that, but also too, I'm gonna get back into, I feel like I'm good at just putting 5 points together and elaborating on them and it turning on a light bulb for a lot of individuals. That's what I've seen with some of my older content. So I definitely want to tap back into that as well. And as you guys can see, I'm kind of ramping up, you know, on the channel again. I have my phases where you guys won't see me for, and usually if you do not see me for a period of time, 9 times out of 10, I'm working on something. Like it's something I have to go away to find stuff to bring back to the space, to educate you guys on. If I'm constantly here, then I'm not able to engage in or learn new things, acquire different contracts. That way I can bring this information to you. So if you don't see me sometimes for a period of time, it's because I'm grinding, I'm working. But I'm going to always bring the information back to the space because I don't want people to, take it the wrong way and think I'm just abandoned. No, I'm working. And I think I'm one of the most transparent individuals on YouTube. So I always bring what I learn back to the space, but I have to have those periods where I'm away in order to come up with new information. Like y'all seen me run how many Amazon relay loads? So if that's all I'm doing and I'm not working on doing anything, like that gets old. And I feel like people don't want to see, you know, just the same old redundant content over and over. And that's what I work on, bringing you guys something different to the space so I could mix it up. And that's why I throw in, sometimes I frequent the auctions. I see people like to see the cars. And so I throw some of that in. I try to be active on the post, even if I'm not making videos. But all of this is to let you guys know that I'm still here. I'm still working, but I'm not always able to just be right, on YouTube. So, but I don't like for people to take it the wrong way and think that I'm just not doing nothing. No, something is going on and you'll find out about it. It just, right then and there, I'm not able to be, because this has been planned for a long time, like over a month. I just been trying to get around to it. And I don't like putting it out like that. I like to do it when it's fresh because it's more passionate. The longer I wait to do something, then it's just like, I'm just doing it because I supposed to did it and I haven't done it. As opposed to if I strike while the iron hot, it's more passion in that. And so, yeah, I gotta be more in real time. Definitely. But yeah, Chicago, very own. I appreciate that. I try to be as consistent as possible, man. For real, for real. Great polo. Poster truck has us bidding against each other. Algorithm then sets it at what we drive it down to. Exactly. The algorithm plays into it's a bunch of different factors that plays into what these rates are, what these lows are going for. It's not one thing. I do feel like the economy that does play into it, but it ain't 100% of why the rates are the way they are. You cannot say the algorithm or the amount of trucks in the area at a particular time don't influence the rates. Why do you think they have a GPS on all of our relay app? They know where you're at. That's why this another little tip. If you're trying to get a load for a decent amount from Amazon, the further you sit away from the facility, the more your chances are of getting a better rate. The closer you are to the facility, they see that on the location. If you look at the top of your phone, every time Relay track you, depending on what type of, you'll see that blue little icon pop up. That's the app checking to see where you at. Oftentimes that blue little, well, it's a GPS symbol. It'll pop up and then loads will pop up. So they're searching the area to see what trucks are where, how close they are to the facility, and that determines what rate. That's why you'll see a load come out at 3 a.m. for 260 per mile. They know you sitting right there. So they feel if it's an operator right there in the area, he should take this load for a cheaper rate, as opposed to when they scan that area and there's no trucks around, that load hit the board at above $4 per mile right away. Like if I'm not by the facility, loads come up at a higher rate right away, as opposed to 260, and then you got to wait so much time for it to increase. So it's a lot that factors into, but they got that app set up crucial right now to where, yeah, the performance, the app, Amazon winning with all of that right now. It took them some years. I used to wonder how they were so behind times. Well, now with this AI, they are ahead of the game. Like the photos that went to, and not just a photo, now it's recognition to where if it's not you, the app recognizes that. And then the owner starts getting emails and then they doing investigations and so forth. So the game didn't change. It definitely, as far as Amazon, even like people starting trucking companies to wait to run for Amazon. Like, I'm not trying to discourage you, but I would be trying to get some other type of resources in place in order to be successful, because you could wait 6 months on Amazon and then it takes 6 months for you to figure Amazon out. Now you a year in and you ain't really made a whole lot of money. So you probably gonna want to have something lined up other than Amazon. I'm not discouraging you from running Amazon. Hey, have your fun with that. But like I said, just be careful with putting all your eggs in that Amazon basket. You used to could do that. Now you really can't. You could be setting yourself up for failure. So it's not to be discouraging. It's just saying to do some other research into other freight that you could run other than Amazon. You know, you might be able to get rolling within 3 months with somebody else, just kind of depending on who you could get in contact with. I would get DAT, get the highest subscription, and just start calling brokers 10 a day. Set a goal of like 10 brokers a day, and probably all 10 gonna tell you no on some days. You just got to kind of be prepared for that as a new authority. Like get DAT the highest subscription and call until you get 2-3 brokers in your back pocket that will work with a new. Some will. We all know TQL, but whew, that's a whole nother. I ain't even gonna get into that, but yeah, it's some people that will work with you with a new authority. Man, Great Polo, you a fool, man. I ain't gonna lie, you really spice up these live streams, man. I ain't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you, Great Polo. I like you too, bro. You're a good guy. I know you're a good guy. He said he glad I stopped yelling in my videos. Man, I think it was the volume, bro. It wasn't even me yelling. I wasn't setting the volume right. And then I think at a certain area where I do my videos, it kind of echo. But yeah, he said. Oh man, Great Polo, you a fool, man. He's so angry. Bro, I'm not. I'm really a happy person, bro. For real. Like, and that's why I'm glad that I can, times get rough, but I think overall, me personally, I'm generally a happy person. I may appear or be perceived different, but most days I wake up in a good mood, and the glass is half full and not half empty. That's kind of how, it's only two ways you really could look at life. But yeah, to me, most of the time the glass is half full as opposed to half empty. That's how I try to look at stuff. Man, I'm way behind, huh? Damn. Are most dispatchers honest about potential earnings when working with them? No. They all say 5. Yeah, they all gonna say that. Some say 7. No, dispatchers are not honest about what you gonna make with them. They just trying to get you to sign up and run a freight, and they probably trying to bamboozle you and get you to. And see, that's another thing. Like I've even heard that the dispatchers are now preying on carriers because they understand that certain carriers will run loads at a cheaper rate than others. And what they'll do is they'll give one carrier a load and sometimes even send them a rate con and then switch it up and say that, oh, the load got canceled. Sometimes even once the carrier starts heading in that direction, they could cancel. If a load is canceled, it's canceled. They simply just need to give you a tow no, for going over there. So yeah, they'll give somebody a load. Some other Tom, Dick, or Harry will say, hey, I'll run it for cheaper. The same thing like with the Curry situation. And then they'll say, well, it canceled, and they'll give it to the other guy for cheaper, and then his truck break down or whatever the case. So you have to realize that no, the brokers don't tell. Nobody tells the truth. Don't believe nothing. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear is what I would, go by, especially in this trucking industry. Like, no, brokers don't tell the truth. You can't trust brokers. So, I mean, that's just my honest opinion on that. I would take everything with a grain of salt, and yeah, they are not your friend. You could laugh and giggle with them, kick it with them, but know that broker is not your friend. He's out for his best interest, what's the most profitable for him, and he want to get that load moved. Bottom line, that's his job. Of course, he gonna be friendly and cool and kiki ha ha with you, but no, they are not trustworthy. And yeah, I wouldn't believe half of what they tell me. But most of the times, people make a lot less than what's projected, by the broker. So no, I wouldn't set that in stone at all. Definitely not. Brokers, dispatchers, whatever you want to call it. Are you heading up relay con? It's me. Run that back one more time. You said, "Are you heading up?" Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard about that. Now I got you. No, I'm not going to that. What is that? I've seen it. Some type of event that Amazon having the relay con meetup, or the Lowe's not paying enough for me to go to nothing like that. When they start paying some money, then I'll go talk to them. But yeah, unless they want to discuss paying some more money, I ain't about to go to no convention and hang out there with them. Which is probably something just to make them some more money and get them some more publicity. Like, nah, I'm not. I'm not going to that. My acceptance score took a hit when they came. You need to talk to your performance manager. Your acceptance should not take a hit because of a cancellation. That was a rejection. That would have had to been a rejection for your acceptance, because the only thing that affects acceptance is whether you accept or reject the load. So Yeah, that was a rejection. You need to talk to your performance manager if they canceled it. Dispute that, Victor. Right. Yeah, he's right. Maximize trucking is right. You need to dispute that. They do things like that to keep your score down. Yeah, it do seem like anytime you try to get good with Amazon, something happen. Like that, the I-55 being whose fault is that? That's uncontrollable. Even the preceding days after the weather was bad, the interstate shut down. If a person come up here and they don't know that, that's not carry. That's to me, that's not carrier controllable. But Amazon gonna definitely say it is. My authority is going active in 1 week. I love your content, brother. Appreciate that. Jeffrey Dice. Is that am I saying that right? Appreciate this the first I'm seeing you too. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody that graced the live stream tonight. And I always say, but I'm gonna try to do more of these. I have a bunch of topics. I just got to get them done. So the next one is gonna be deleting the death. We definitely gonna do that. And I think I got 9 more after that. This was just kind of a I saw this coming up a lot and being discussed. Like I said, I talked to a few people, so I just wanted to do a live. This wasn't in those 10, so it's still 10 more live streams that I want to do. No problem, Jeffrey. I'm just call you Jeffrey. Like 6K as a company driver for a 26 foot. 6K. What you mean? You made them 6K or you made 6K a week? You made them 6K a week, or you didn't make 6K in a week. You the truck made 6K in a week. I got you. Yeah, it was the same way with me, Maximize Trucking. Me and my homeboy, I just hollered at him. Oh yeah, Amazon ain't my homeboy ain't get paid. Amazon did any of y'all have issues with y'all payment from this past Prime Week, which you should be getting this Thursday or Friday, depending on your financial institution. My homeboy hit me and he like, man, did you have a problem with your payment? Amazon didn't give him nothing but $175 tow note out of $5,500. So he made 5,500. They owe him 53. He ain't getting. I'm like, that's not like Amazon. Amazon normally pays as they should on time, like clockwork. That's what I like about Amazon. My homie ain't get his whole check. I'm like, man, that's kind of fishy. So they reviewing it now, but he had just texted me earlier asking me like what happened. I'm like, I don't know. A lot of people, soon as something go wrong, they text me like, I'm supposed to know. I got my bread. Like I look, my money was on there. So I'm like, I don't know why that happened like that, but he didn't get none of his check. So he's salty. he saw truck for real. I ain't gonna lie. But he good though. He financial wise, he good. But he mad about his money. What's the most you made on your best week? Man, it was like 2 years ago. I made 6,500 in 1 week. Jeffrey said, "Thanks, no problem, no problem." Let's see. Probably better off staying a 9 to 5. Some people they are. It's a jungle out here, man, and it's mentally taxing. That's what a lot of people don't realize either. Like when you out here and stuff ain't going right, it's mentally taxing, and you gotta have some type of mental strength to get through, or you'll just pack everything up and just say, "Hey, it's over with. I'm done," you know? So, that's something that you definitely gotta know that it's rough mentally out here. You're not gonna dodge that. Things aren't gonna always go as planned, and sometimes you ain't gonna hit your goal. I mean, stuff gonna happen out here. So you gotta that's kind of you need to accept that when you know, start your authority that more often than not, things are not gonna go as planned. I show you guys that a lot in my videos that, you know, you could go in with all the right intentions and things still go wrong. So that's just something to think about. It just comes with trucking. Like nobody comes out and every if somebody tell you that they started a trucking company and everything went as planned and they got rich and they retired, that's some bull. Some went wrong. There were some hiccups. It was some sacrifices. They took some L's. They got some bumps and bruises. Like, yeah. And if you leave that out, then you just ain't keeping it real. You gotta put that in there, even myself included. Like, I've been through a lot in 5 years, building this trucking company. And it seems like, over time it gets a little better, but you gotta put in that work in order to, build the foundation to be able to be successful. Or you just be the next individual that, like I say, you end up with some sad story talking about so and so put you out of business. Maximize trucker said it's rough as hell nowadays. It definitely is. It definitely is. And it's probably only gonna get rougher. Yeah, Victor, you doing oil changes every AK. That's my PM guys telling me to do that. I don't know, I might run at 10 this time, but I'll try not to go over that. About 10,000 miles unless you run a synthetic. Ooh, Maurice, is Curry good in Chicago? It is decent. I would say they better than Mothership, but them Curry runs go so quick. People tell, and I experience it too. A Curry run will come up, you tap on it, and it say another carrier has accepted this load. I don't know what type of Wi-Fi, or what type of hotspot or system that they got, but I don't even see the load before it get booked. I don't even know what went up there half of the time. So Curry got decent loads, but they go quick. All of my success with Curry comes from direct contacts where they reach out to me and I'm able to set my price and then go from there. But other than that, yeah, Curry going real quick up in the Midwest area. I run my PM interviews at 10 to 15K. That's about right. I think they kind of got me like doing them quicker, but they say like my engine that I got in, my truck will last forever. One, delete the death. Two, do an oil change every 8 to 10,000 miles, and I can get well over 1,000,000 miles out of my Cummins. But they said if you don't stick with them oil changes and the correct intervals, that the engine not gonna last as long. So that's what I'm hearing. Jeffrey say he going in with zero debt, no truck payment. Yeah, that's gonna help you decrease that overhead. And that's the main killer, it's just overhead for real. Yep, he definitely is Chicago's very own. He definitely is on the right path, coming in with a paid off truck. Jeffrey, yeah, I knew you were a new face in the live stream. I appreciate you being here though, and I gotta do more of these. That way I get a consistent, base that knows I'm gonna be on a regular basis. Cause I know that they just been my last one was 2 months ago. I'm waiting on Great Polo to say something, but yeah, he ain't say nothing today. So yeah, I know he's gonna call me on that. Uh every week I have an issue with payments. With Amazon? Damn, they only owe Amazon not paying you right, maximize trucking. I ain't never seen that. Yeah, maximize. He got out of here. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Be safe. Yeah, I keep two pallet jacks at all time. I started that practice when I had a driver and I was training the driver, and I just always since then kept both pallet jacks on the truck. It's just a habit now that I've kind of got you, and it saved me because some docks they narrow and you may have to pull from one side or the other. So having two tucked in there, it definitely saved. Chicago's very own. Anytime, bro. Anytime. Just get with me. It's Midwest Box Trucking at gmail.com. Shoot me a email and we could chop it up for sure. Yeah, be safe out there, maximize trucking. Appreciate you. Amazon like one or two loads a day. Usually one, maybe two sometimes. If I get lucky, I have done more than that. But on average, probably like one, maybe two a day. And now that I got the daytime stuff, I'll probably be doing maybe three, four Amazon loads a week. And I'm gonna try to just make them real profitable. But yeah, I can't be doing every night in Amazon now because I'm just gonna burn myself out. And I really want to commit myself to like the daytime contract and do a real good job with them and hold on to that because we all know Amazon hit and miss. I do think judging off Prime, maybe, November, December, we hopefully should see some type of increase if we could judge off what we saw Prime, because Prime was hidden. And a lot of areas I'm hearing good things about Prime and I saw similar results. So hopefully that's an indicator for peak season, if you will. Hopefully that's telling us something about, what volume. If we have a peak season like what we just saw this prime, then I think we'll be good in good shape. Now that is wishful thinking. I'm gonna say that. But I'm hoping that peak will be exactly like this prime that we just had. And we should be all gravy. So we'll just see how that works. Great Polo said I was giving you a break. Oh yeah, I know. You don't miss nothing. You been here the whole live though. What we almost 3 hours in. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you for sure, for sure. Yeah, get with me, Chicago's very own. For sure. Yeah, man, I appreciate you, Jeffrey. Yeah, I mean, I think people catching on to the channel, and I gotta be more consistent. I understand that. Like, I have to, but like I said, I gotta work and I gotta go out and bring stuff back to the space at the same time. So, it's just that balance. But we gonna get it together. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just I'm gonna do another one of these within 7 days. I'm gonna make that commitment. I'm gonna do the Death Live within the next 7 days. I'm gonna commit to that for y'all. So by next what Tuesday or so, you know, we gonna get into that. But I wanted to just knock this one out today. And we may touch on this again in the future. I don't know. But yeah, we close to 3 hours in. So I definitely appreciate everybody that graced the stream. I'm loving the engagement that I'm seeing right now. If you hear and you have not hit the like button, please do so for me. If you want to drop a comment on the way out, I ain't gonna stay here much longer. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm tired. I know y'all gotta run the trucks or get ready for that contract in the morning. So whatever y'all do, y'all, stay safe out there. And I'll see you guys back here live shortly, like I said, within the next 7 days. And I got some content dropping too. So y'all see me on a pre-record before then. But yeah, I gotta knock these live streams out. And like I said, I see the engagement. So I appreciate everyone that graced this live stream. Kim R. I just try to do what I can, and it ain't all about money with me. I try to make my money elsewhere. So, I appreciate you noticing that. And yeah, I'm definitely here for you guys. I don't do this for any type of monetary gain or have any type of expectations on what I'm gonna make off of this social media platform. So I definitely appreciate that observation. He said, I wish man, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad y'all enjoyed the stream. And yeah, with that being said, man, I think I touched on 95% of what I saw in the chat that was relevant. And I see well, it's going up now too. Hey, y'all want me to keep going, but I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta go to bed. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all for gracing the stream, hitting the like button, and I see y'all soon. Y'all have a great night and stay safe out there. First and foremost. Take it easy. Peace.